Hey guys, LevelCap here, and welcome to another episode of This Week in Gaming. DICE released the proper gameplay trailer for Battlefield 5's upcoming Battle Royale mode Firestorm. Videos covering the new mode released after the proper trailer, giving us even more details. I did a full recap video of all the big points of interest, so be sure to check that out. Players can expect 64-man fights across a gigantic map with weapons coming pre-configured based on their loot level, as well as vehicle combat across land, sea, and air. The gameplay trailer and game changer videos all look very promising. We'll find out for ourselves if the mode is worthy of the hype on Monday. In preparation for the mode's launch, a patch was deployed that makes some significant changes to the airplane flight model and a bunch of smaller changes like vehicle bug fixes, settings tweaks, and more. The airplane changes will take some time to evaluate, but planes in general should feel less floaty. The changes overall aren't night and day for your average pilot, but experienced pilots should definitely notice a difference. For my full thoughts on the patch, be sure to watch the video. NVIDIA RTX owners will be happy to hear that DICE improved DLSS with this patch at 1440p and 4K resolutions. It should result in sharper images. The next Tides of War chapter, Trial by Fire, launches on the 28th. It'll include the usual weekly changes that players can complete to unlock whatever new weapons, vehicles, and cosmetic items coming with the new chapter. DICE released an updated roadmap for Battlefield 5 detailing the next few months of content and giving us some hints as to what we can expect all the way out in Chapter 5, which will be coming out in the fall. I did an in-depth video covering it yesterday and my thoughts on it. Overall, it's nice to know that they're at least hinting at or semi-committing to a new faction, but being very vague with the details about what and when is a little bit concerning, and I think they're leaving it that way so they can potentially scale it back if Firestorm or their microtransaction store does not pay off as they expect it to. The Season 1 update for Apex Legends released this week to mixed reaction. Purchasing the season adds 100 levels to grind through for cosmetic unlocks, extra Apex packs, and more. A deluxe edition of Battle Pass is available that includes 25 levels already unlocked. Individual levels can be purchased for Apex coins. Players that don't buy the Battle Pass can still complete a subset of its levels, earning unlocks at specific points. The update also adds a new legend, Octane. He's not necessarily a game-changing addition by any stretch, but his stim boost and jump pad abilities offer players some fresh mobility options. He has a passive heal that regenerates health outside of combat over time in small chunks. His stim ability increases his run speed for a short period of time. The jump pad is Octane's ultimate ability. It recharges pretty quickly and allows players to bounce themselves, grenades, and certain abilities across the map. Pathfinder's zipline abilities still give you a little more distance and mobility than Octane's jump pad, but Pathfinder's abilities are on longer cooldowns. Overall, Octane is a good addition to the game, but won't be making waves. Generally speaking, a vocal portion of Apex's player base seems underwhelmed by Season 1's content. It's being compared to Fortnite's current content updates, which come out every few weeks and offer pretty big changes to portions of the game. In other Battle Royale news, PUBG's 27th update is now live. It adds the MP5K SMG as a Vikendi exclusive weapon, replacing the Vector on that map. The Vector has all been switched from 45mm to 9mm ammo, reducing its damage. The UMP takes its place, with its ammo being swapped to 45mm from 9mm. It's now called the UMP45 and should be a stronger contender in close quarter combat. The overall spawn rates of loot across Erangel have been increased. On top of the increase, ARs, DMRs, and SMGs all got an average 15% bump in spawn rate. The game's UI also got some pretty big tweaks. The settings menu is a bit more refined, though don't expect any new graphics options. Finally, a Season 3 Survivor Pass called Wildcard has been added. It will now run for 10 weeks, costs the usual $10, and includes a bunch of new cosmetic items. Disney is resurrecting the Lucasfilm Games brand name. Before it was renamed to LucasArts, the original studio released some games for Atari outside of the Star Wars IP. In 1990, the company was resurrected into the LucasArts brand we know today. They were responsible for some major titles like X-Wing, Knights of the Old Republic, Battlefront, Force Unleashed, and more. When Lucasfilm was acquired by Disney, LucasArts became a publishing company and ceased development on games. But with multiple EA Star Wars titles delayed, cancelled, or otherwise failing to perform, it seems like Disney is expanding their oversight of games based on the iconic franchise. They're now hiring for Lucasfilm Games. That said, they won't be making games. Lucasfilm plans to continue licensing games out to other studios. Once the exclusive deal with EA ends in 2023, however, it's likely Lucasfilm Games will play a much bigger role in the future of Star Wars titles. Cyberpunk 2077's release window just got a little clearer. The game's developer recently confirmed 2 games are planned for release by 2021. This includes the hotly anticipated sci-fi RPG and a new unannounced game. So far, all things have pointed to either a late 2019 or early 2020 release for Cyberpunk 2077. The second game will likely be related to the Witcher franchise, but won't be a main installment. A proper release date for 2077 is expected as part of the dev's E3 announcement in June. Epic raised some eyebrows last week when users discovered the Epic Store launcher was copying Steam user data stored locally. The data collected wasn't used unless customers opted to link their Steam and Epic accounts. The issue is it's unclear exactly what the nature of the data collection is, potentially exposing sensitive user data that would otherwise be secure. Launchers copying data from each other is pretty standard, but they typically do it via their respective APIs, gaining access to only select information that helps ensure account security. Copying local data isn't a common practice and seems dubious at best. It also did it before users ever opted into linking their accounts. Thankfully, it looks like Epic will at least stop their copying files before users opt in. Why they still insist on using local data instead of the typical API approach remains a mystery though. Valve have officially said they don't approve of what Epic is doing, saying that the data it copies is not intended to be used by other programs or uploaded to any third-party service. As for Epic's exclusivity deals, the company will be ramping them down over time. Once they establish their store and its business models, PC players can hopefully expect fewer games being exclusive just to the Epic Store. The company is also keen to avoid last-minute exclusivity announcements like what happened with Metro Exodus being removed from Steam a week before its release. The developers of upcoming RPG The Outer Worlds recently announced their game would be exclusive for Epic and Windows stores for 1 year after release, prompting outrage from potential players. Epic themselves announced Quantic Dream's PS4 titles Beyond Two Souls, Heavy Rain, and Detroit Become Human would all be launching on their store this year. It's the first time any of these games have appeared on PC. Remedy's third-person sci-fi shooter Control finally has a release date of August 27th and will also be exclusive to the Epic Store on PC. Google revealed their upcoming game streaming service called Stadia. It requires no special hardware, just a compatible device and broadband internet connection. This means people can stream games from home or on the go with Android devices. Stadia titles will be rendered on a server that surpasses the PS4 and Xbox One consoles in terms of raw horsepower. Players will get a YouTube-style stream of the game that they can play locally with a controller or mouse and keyboard. It's promising stuff, especially assuming latency isn't a huge issue. Both Nvidia and Valve offer comparable services, and it's clear that many big contenders are getting into this game. Black Ops 4 is getting a new zombie map called Ancient Evil. It launches first on PS4 starting March 26, with PC and Xbox One players getting it the following week. The map takes players to ancient Greece where they'll fight zombie hordes in familiar locations from Greek history. The Black Ops 4 Season Pass is required to get Ancient Evil. It's stuck. The original System Shock's remake is coming along nicely. The devs posted a new gameplay video showcasing the entire first area of the game. It's still missing a lot of assets and clearly needs some optimization, but it's a very promising development considering the remake stumbles since being announced. Despite being a remake of a game from 1994, it looks unlike any game out today, at least visually. The devs have clearly borrowed heavily from System Shock 2's first-person controls and gameplay. The original System Shock was one of the first FPS games ever, but was more akin to a point-and-click adventure game than a proper 3D experience. And that wraps it up for today's episode of This Week in Gaming. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Let me know what you thought about the stories today, and excuse the mic quality as I am recording this on the road, so less than ideal recording situation. I'll see you guys next time. This is Level Cap, signing off.